Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the clubhouse. We're so happy to have you. Kim and I are having amazing hair days. Just saying myself. Yeah.
Show them your tooth.
Oh, I also got my new gold teeth in, y'all. So don't judge me when I talk with a lisp. I'm learning. I got to be extra and get a giant ass opal in there. So.
Oh, I love it. It looks so good.
Thank you.
So today we have a really special guest, and I think you guys were pretty excited about it too because we got a lot of questions. Today is our male porn star, director, and producer, and he owns his own media company. So today we have Jackie Knight.
Yay.
Enjoy. Welcome, Jackie. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. So typically what we would normally do is we would write our own questions and then take a couple from like the audience, but so many people were super interested in this, so we got a lot of questions, so I'm really excited. All right, so first off, how old are you? Where are you from? How did this get started? That was like the number one question that everyone's asking.
Okay. So I'm 31 years old, from Virginia actually, but my dad was in the Coast Guard, so we moved around a lot growing up. Kind of just settled in Delaware. That's where I like went to middle school and high school. So I guess I'd kind of say I'm from Delaware. Yeah. And then I got into this because of Jada Kai. She was like my best friend, and we were actually married.
I did not know that. I thought you guys were like boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah, so we have like a long history. Like we've known each other for like 16 years, so like over half of our life.
How did you meet?
And in high school, actually, in Delaware. She was on Team USA figure skating, and I was just like a stoner in high school. I worked at the local ice rink that she trained at, and I was like snack bar boy, I guess you could say. It's funny because her dad would always be like, "Don't talk to snack bar boy," but later on he ended up like.
You won him over.
Yeah. So, but in high school we were just friends. We never really were interested in each other. She actually went to prom with my best friend, and I like had crushes on her friends and stuff. So I'd always talk to her like, "Oh, who's your friend?" It wasn't until I joined the military and then I was deployed, and I saw that she was doing a Support the Troops show, and I like reached out, and I think it was on Facebook. Maybe it was MySpace. I think it was Facebook. But I was like, "Hey, it's really cool, you know, that you're doing this like fundraiser." And then we just like started talking from there, and we went on a date when I got back from that deployment, and it just snowballed into like a relationship. And it was long distance for like 6 months. While she was in Delaware, I was stationed in Colorado, and yeah, one day she asked me like, can you call me your girlfriend? And I was like, I was really nervous about it, so I like was honest with her. I was like, can I think about it? It's probably not the answer.
Yeah.
But
was she a little bitter?
I called her back the next day.
Was she bitter by that response, or was she like, okay, I get it?
I think she had told me later on that she was like a little shocked by that, but
Rejected.
But I called her up the next day after I thought about it and was like, "Hey, girlfriend, what's up?" So, yeah, so it just kind of like went from there. But.
So what's the pros of? Well, you guys both like own a media company together, right? And so when did that start?
Yeah. So just this past year, we started a media company together. Our goal is to like have a high accountability. Like very very few companies. I feel like. I'm sorry, I'm like. Because I'm like talking. It's not something that we're like really like doing yet. You know what I mean? We're still working on our own things, but we want to have like a high accountability, high standard, high level of professionalism. And there are some companies that do that, but I think that the more companies that do that, it'll like shine a better light on the adult industry.
Right. Okay. That's I was going to ask
Like,
you in the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I guess that being said, do you think you have, I guess, probably more, you're well-rounded because you do porn, but also you're creating it and you're producing it, directing it, all of the above. But do you think that'll kind of help make your media company more successful in that realm?
I think so, and I think having Jada as my best friend and business partner, we're able to talk about things from a female's perspective and try to understand how do we make the environment safe and comfortable and for everyone, in an environment where you can talk about anything. Even if you're filming, anyone should feel like they should be able to cut at any point in time, if they feel uncomfortable, not because they're going to ruin the scene or because it's going to make them seem like a hard performer to work with. Safety always needs to come first, and they need to know that everyone on set is a safety observer, equally.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's something that is talked about on other sets, but that's something that we frequently talk about on our set.
Is that
awesome.
like a common thing for models to feel like they can't really cut when they need to, or if something feels weird and off, like they don't want to ruin a scene? Is that something that's commonly talked about?
I'm not sure if it's common, but it shouldn't happen ever. Everyone should always feel comfortable. And I've had friends in the past, I don't want to say their name, but they have come forward on Twitter and on other things, and they said that they filmed scenes that they felt uncomfortable and they didn't want to stop. And then people end up kind of victim blaming and shaming them, well, you should have stopped and that kind of stuff. And it's maybe they really didn't feel comfortable or have those talks beforehand with someone. And I think that if having Jada, she's been through a lot. She's talking about some of her trauma now, openly. So just her talking and telling people that you're safe. You can talk about anything beforehand, before anything starts. I think helps people feel like they don't have to be tough and be to push through it. And I know that's a common thing that people feel, and we all respect that, and we all feel that at some point in our life, just to push through it and deal with it. But sometimes you don't have to, and I don't want people to feel like they have to.
Yeah. So how do I put it? So everything is an energy exchange, and your psyche or your inner self. So I personally have never been interested in sex work because I feel like that is so sacred and easily influenced, the energy that you put out and put in. Do you do anything that, to make sure that your spirit self is healthy and protected during your line of work? You know what I'm saying?
Communication, I think that's vitally important, and just being open and honest about what makes you feel uncomfortable, even if it's the slightest thing, and admitting to yourself sometimes even oh, why am I uncomfortable with this? But it's okay. And so I think that not comparing yourself to others and saying well, they're doing it, I should be able to do that. That helps me stay in my safe mental health zone. I'm me, you know what I mean, and I'm just doing my best.
That's what I meant too. Your mental health and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So a little background. I for a split second, I messaged Jackie to get information about the porn world, and he was nice enough to respond, for one, but also just give me a lot of tips. And then also Jada gave me tips too. Consistency is the key, and that's something that I do not have. I just don't have the time right now. Yeah, it is. And that's another question was do you feel like you have to record every sexual act? Because I know you do a lot of your own productions at home and stuff too with Jada. So do you guys feel like you have to record every sexual act, masturbation included, everything, just to stay on top of the content, I guess?
Definitely not. Okay. I think that could probably even add pressure, or even take away from I guess a sense of well-being, or even just it's totally different. It really is a performance a lot of the times, and there are some times that we really like to just capture real, just genuine interaction and chemistry. But there are a lot of times I think that it's just like it's a nice moment and we can enjoy it, and also like when you're not filming, you can be a little closer and you can not worry about angles and you can be slower and you can enjoy things, and it's more of like a
Yeah,
connection.
because that was another thing that everyone was asking is like, is sex a chore, or do you like genuinely still like enjoy it, or when you're off work you don't want to be having sex, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, it's I mean, very often we have to talk about like, hey, like
what kind of mood are you
um
in?
I guess like even if we both want to have sex, sometimes it's like, oh, I have a scene tomorrow. Maybe I shouldn't actually. Like maybe I should rest, and like that is for personal health reasons and stuff like that. So there are some times where like we may choose not to have sex because we are trying to like stay safe and recover, or that kind of thing.
Like,
So that goes for both people. Both anyone should be able to talk about that, and no one should ever feel like they have to work every day. I
yeah,
don't
no,
think.
I
Wait,
agree.
Kim, were you interested in getting into porn? Is that
Okay,
why
so
you reached out to him?
kind of, well, for a split second I was kind of like, huh, maybe I could do that. And plus, like I was already doing the feet stuff, and at the time I was being a little bit more consistent, which I've completely like fallen off right now. But I was like, but it would be very like specific, and so then I think that just kind of cuts me out of like a lot of the stuff. It'd be like, oh, I only want to do girl girl. I only would want to do masturbation. I'd only want to do scenes with Rico. So it's like I thought about it and I was like, that just kind of pushes me out. I was like, I'm not going to do anal on scene, like, so I think there was a split second where I was like, maybe. And I made a Pornhub page and then I just deleted it because I couldn't stay on top of the content. And so there's these like model rankings too. And so you would see your number go up. And then if you couldn't stay consistent, you'd see it go down. And so I just deleted the whole thing because I was like, that number is just kind of stressful.
Yeah, I think some people really do stress about that number. When Jada first started, there was a time when she was webcamming a lot, and it was like and then she was also doing, I think it was Chatterbait and MFC, and she was really like stressing herself out sometimes about the number, and I was like, at the end of the day, it's like as long as you're happy, like I think that shines through, and man, sometimes I wish they would take away that
Yeah,
number. It really
it
does stress me
does.
out.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess it's the same thing in like in all aspects of life now with social media and like how many followers and how many likes and everything that you're getting. It's like
Yeah.
everything kind of has a number on it. It's like that whole Black Mirrors episode. Did you see that? Where
Yeah.
everything was just like this social, like everyone can see your number on top of your head just
Yeah.
going down.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's why I
I
asked
love that
about
movie.
energy too, and like how that works, because I used to work. I bartended at a strip club for a while, and there, everyone's such beautiful girls, but you would just see that they were like dead in the eyes, and it hurt. It hurt my soul, and again, I think because I'm like into that it affected me more. But
Because
like
you
I
like
don't want to
feed
look
on
at
people's
that.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't saying like it's important that she's happy, and you want to see someone that is happy and enjoying their job, especially when you're trying to get off on it or whatever you're trying to do.
I think it would be easy for me to do the opposite and say like, and a lot of people do, I think, judge and say that, this isn't going to make you happy. And it's like me to tell her what, it's just, I'm not her, So
Yeah,
when
no,
she first started doing
right.
it, I was doing like undercover journalism for a nonprofit organization. So I was like traveling a lot. And I wasn't 100% sure about it because I was like, I don't know, maybe your safety's on the line. People might, learn about you and that kind of stuff. There's a lot I was concerned about with the webcamming. I was like, I'm not even there because I was traveling on the road a lot. And then when it eventually started getting to like making clips and then having fans and then like subscribers and consistently talking to them, I did worry a lot at first, but I had to just trust that she knew what she was doing, and yeah, so she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
So she started in the industry before you?
Yeah,
And
for
kind
about a
of
year, she was doing
got,
webcamming, and then it snowballed into like making solo clips as she like had fans request stuff, and then they started requesting like boy girl clips, and she wasn't sure if she was gonna do that stuff. So I think she did some girl stuff with some performers, and then when my job it started like a rebranding process, I knew I had to like find a new job. She was like, well, we could do this together, and I thought, like, okay, I can support my friend in this. And I was definitely thought that I wasn't ever gonna have a face in it and just be like her cameraman and that kind of stuff. But I felt uncomfortable, like I felt like I was hiding, like, so I felt like it was better to be transparent about who I was. So like I made a brand and I put myself out
hmm.
there also because I wanted to like hold
This is
myself
your
accountable.
guys'
Yeah.
full-time work now, right? You guys don't do any other.
So for
Okay.
the last, she's
What would your mom tell people
oh
that you
no, you're
do? I'm
fine.
sorry to interrupt you.
She knows. I told my dad. I don't
Yeah.
know if she would tell people what I. I think she would say that
Yeah. Like say that you're an accountant. That's what my mom
he
would
might
Yeah.
do. Oh,
say
he's
he's
an accountant.
doing modeling and photography. Yeah,
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 Yeah.
which you are.
and
So
I want to have side
cool.
hobbies in making documentaries and like bird photography, actually. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I like that
Okay.
too.
So if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what do you think you would be doing? Like, would you still be doing the undercover journalist, or you'd be doing your documentaries? Like, is that the realm that you kind of want to stay in like the video
Yes,
photography
I
world?
definitely have some dreams. Like I want to have a warehouse and turn that into a film production company that I can make commercials or I can make videos to raise awareness on issues. I also want to get back into making documentaries and I want to train other people how to get in there with undercover cameras just like I did and then get the footage that we need so we can show the public what's going on. But I want to take it further than just animal abuse, and I want to take it to elder abuse, child abuse, animal abuse, anything
Yeah.
that needs to be seen, anything that's like going on behind closed doors. I don't want to talk about the organization too much, but it is something that I really want to do one day.
Yeah. Manifest that warehouse.
So, okay, so for me, like, I was posting more of like my risque photos and feet and stuff like that. But, I mean, I guess I can say lucky for me, I get seasonal depression, whereas, there's people that can have it all the time. But like, it's always mine is like at the beginning of the year. And then I just feel in like a funk where I'm not happy with my body. I'm not happy with the way any part of me looks. So do you ever get into that like insecure persona to where it's like hard to make the content?
Definitely. And I really like have to I guess like lean on my friend there. Like I don't feel confident. And it's like that's where when Jada's like, "What are you talking about? You look great." It's like
That's your
that
cheerleader. I love that.
Oh.
yeah. And the same goes for her. Like last year she went through something pretty traumatic. She got shingles on her side. So shingles is like it's like chicken pox, but it comes back.
Right.
It's like
That hurts too, right?
so
I think my mom gets.
it
Yeah,
hurts.
it hurts a lot.
Yeah, and it left some pretty bad scars on her side. So she ended up getting laser treatment and some chemical peel treatment, and she's still doing like some creams and stuff like that to help with the scarring. But there was a long time that she was really self-conscious of it, and like I can see now she's really getting through it, and it's every day she definitely like needs to be reminded that like our scars are just a part of us, and it's like it doesn't change anything about her. Like she's still the same person.
Mhm.
It's like she's still just as beautiful as she was the day before,
Aw.
but it's hard to feel that way when you see something on you that wasn't before and you didn't want it, you didn't ask for it.
Right.
So it sucks. And if I put myself in that same position, I would really need a good friend to like help push me through that.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy to like, again, compare yourself to everyone else or just like beat yourself up. Like, I know I'm like, I can look at a picture of me and instantly just like pick it apart. Yeah, I've said that before, but I mean, that's why I'm just kind of like, I give my phone to Rico after I make something, and then he's like, okay, this one and this one and this one. He helps me
Yeah.
out there
Oh,
because
that's good.
I will just I hate them
Yeah,
all.
Well,
I do that with her.
yeah, I've said multiple times too that I'm always been a confident person, but again, I mean like on the inside, obviously
They're
my
beautiful.
meat sack could use some work, but I feel like everybody is like that, you know?
Meat sack. You just killed me.
That's
My
how I
physical,
feel.
my physical side. Yeah, like everybody will feel that way. And especially when you're in a funk.
Yeah, so it's definitely good to have like your friends, like good friends that can see that
Yeah.
too. That
I
yeah,
really, again, I keep honing on like the energy side of things, but I'm thinking like, and Kim can relate to this too. We both have toddlers, and I feel like I'm a performer because I have to entertain
Oh my
all
gosh.
day long,
Yes.
and that is
It is,
exhausting.
and that's exactly why I was having the issues with consistency because I was going to a full-time job, but then I was coming home. And when I go to my full-time job, I seriously, I've said it a million times, I look homeless. I look
Yeah.
horrible. I'm a dental hygienist. I'm wearing full-on PPE. Like, I look disgusting. I come home, I'm trying to entertain my kid.
Yeah.
But, like, I cannot put this fake face on because
Right.
this is all, again, just makeup. I can't put lingerie, all the costumes on, and feel good about role playing or pretending to be this confident person for the world. And I think that's like
Yeah.
really difficult because it really is. We are basically role playing that we have a ton of energy for our children. And
Yeah, you do. You have to
not-
entertain. So, what is a job like? Like, do you are there days set? Like, what do you tell us? I don't know how it works.
Yes.
all right. So depending on if it's for my company or if the company reaches out to me and asks me to film with them, it's totally different. So I guess we'll go with if it's with me. I typically don't reach out to performers because I've been told that some girls, and it's not at all their fault, just because they need to get content. Sometimes they just feel pressured to like say yes if somebody asks them. So I just don't ask anyone. But if people ask me, then I will like work them into my schedule. So that's what, and it's like there's other people in the business that are like very aggressive, I guess you could say, that they'll just send you the first message is like, hey, what's up? Do you want to film? Like that's their first
Yeah.
message. I feel like I need to talk to people and get to know them before I decide that we're gonna schedule something. Because yeah, to me it's a little bit more than just like getting two people together and filming. I want two people together that have a connection and that feel comfortable with each other and actually want to be there and want to do that and not just consent but like
Yeah.
want to do that. So, and there's a couple other companies that do that. Some, and those are the good companies I think that should be
That's a
supported.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, so I think it's a little more patient, and you're not able to shoot every single day. Like some companies are shooting every single day, 2 times a day, 3 times a
Oh,
day,
man.
and I think to hold yourself to that standard, you're going to have a lot of room for error. And in this kind of industry where people's mental health is on the line, their physical health, their sexual health, like all these things are on the line. It's better to be patient and take things slow, I think.
So, would you schedule like? Does it take a week to make a short film, or like, what does that look like?
No, like for example, this past week I filmed with 3 different performers: Brenna Sparks, Sammy Parker, and the Serpentine Queen, Adeline Gray, she's a new performer. And in and they took about 2 days to edit each one. One was shot with a professional cameraman, and the other 2 were shot by Jada. One was edited by a cameraman, and then the other 2 were edited by Jada. We just spaced them out by a couple of days just so we don't like overbook ourselves
Yeah.
and get behind on content. Sometimes people work with performers. In these cases, it was trade, so I didn't pay them. If I pay them, then I would keep the content, but if it's a trade agreement, then we'll film the content together and then we'll both receive the content so they can sell the content and make as much money as they can off of
Oh,
it.
cool.
And
But you
yeah,
knock this
so
out in a
that's,
day, and then the editing after. But cool.
yeah,
So you had no idea.
yes. So we did a little bit of the beginning filming the day before for one of the scenes. It was just like Jada was an extra. So, but it only like took about an hour for us to sit down, film a little intro type scene, and then, okay, cool, we'll save it for tomorrow and we'll add it in.
So
And
were you like
that's
a pizza delivery guy or?
in this case, I was actually sitting right here. Jada was sitting here at the desk, and she was doing some work, and I was texting a girl, and she got called into work, and I text this girl to come over, and uh, and I cheated.
Ooh.
So, just,
Okay.
but
Are you pretty, like, before your guys' relationship, are you guys pretty monogamous, or were you like polyamorous, or I don't know, I'm sure there's a bunch of other labels. I don't know.
so some people are surprised by this, and that we're open to talk about this, but like, so Jada actually like kind of lied and cheated about some stuff, and it broke us up, and we stayed friends, and we wanted to like support each other, and like I don't know why, for me it was just like, not, I wouldn't say not a big deal, but like it's still obviously a deal breaker, but not a friendship breaker. Like we were friends first before we got together, and first and foremost I wanted to like make sure my friend was okay. So it's just like it sucked, but it was like, I don't know. I guess all of our friends kind of like looked at us like, oh, it's really weird. But I'm glad that we worked through it, and I think that it's not weird. Like, it's okay if you get lied to. It's okay. It's not okay if you lie, but as long as you're sorry and you're willing to work towards forgiveness, I think that's cool. So, yeah, we were totally like I guess you would call a normal marriage, and then some things happened, and then we decided to do the open relationship thing, and then another lie happened on her side. So, and it's just silly lies that it's anxiety
Yeah.
that and I'm glad that I can like see through that and see that like it's an insecurity thing, and that like definitely like stressed our relationship out to where we're just friends again. And then this past year we started dating again. She asked if we could start dating again, and then we were public about this like a month after. She she was real nervous about a scene coming up because it was with a guy that she didn't really like, but she wanted to do the scene. And this is the part of the industry that I don't like. That girls feel pressured to bite their tongue and do something that they don't want to do because they want to make it. And I really do think that if she would have said something when she was told about the scene, which was like, it was like 7 days before the scene, I do believe her agent would have contacted the company and said like, can we try to get new male talent? Because the company that she was working with, I believe they're a good ethical company, and I think that they would have went out of their way and even rescheduled if they had to. But she bit her tongue, and she like wanted to be tough, and she wanted to not be a problem person to book. She wanted to be like really easy to book, and she pretended like she didn't know about the scene until the day before, and her email proved that it was actually a week before, and that it caused me to actually have to cancel a scene also on someone else because I was like so upset about getting lied to. I was like, I don't want to go over there and cry to this girl, you know? Like, so I was like, I just got to cancel the scene. So it affects a lot of people when you lie. But the good thing is I was able to see that it's like, it was from insecurities that she was really trying to make it. And as a friend, I can see that like, sucks that I was lied to, but like, I see why you were lying, not just to me, but to like potentially like, you know, a producer and your agent and that kind of stuff. And it's like, all those people are also trying to protect you if you can give them the chance. And I want people, especially if they're going to shoot for my company, to know that you can always say that. We can always reschedule, and that you never have to feel pressured. And I never want you to feel uncomfortable. So for whoever you're working with, because I want to eventually find good male talent, reliable male talent, and I want to be able to film it because I feel like I could be a better safety observer if I'm behind the camera.
Yeah. Okay, so for you, whenever you work with like a company and you have to do several scenes in a day, um, not for your own self, but for like someone else's company, what's the typical like amount of, or I guess maybe the most amount of scenes that you've done in a day?
Just
Just one.
one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I would be able to do two
No.
in a day. I mean, I think I could. I don't think I would want to put that pressure on me. And I think it's best to like give your biome a chance to like balance your pH levels. But if you're working with like a lot of performers, like sometimes like it's a lot of like your immune system needs to be really strong. Like I take like echinacea every day in my smoothie because it helps boost your immune
Yeah.
system. But I think if I was working with two people a day, I'd also put myself at a higher risk of just maybe even just getting sick or something like that. That's just a real health
Yeah.
thing.
So one of the questions was, okay, and you may not do it yourself, but like if other models, male models know, or that you know have used it. But so like in porns with men, typically there's like this huge cum load. It's like so fucking much. It's a lot. I feel like that's not realistic really, but I was reading on it last night, and there's like vitamins that people take to like produce more cum. Have you used that, or have you known anybody to use that?
I have heard of performers using that. I think that just being hydrated is enough
Yeah, there
to
was like a whole
really.
list, like exercise, hydrate,
Yeah.
yeah, get
Thank you
rest.
for that answer. Like, Jesus Christ, drink some water. That's all you need to do.
I I have a water tracker on my phone. Jada and we try to drink a gallon of water every day, and we track it, and we notice a big difference in our health. And it sounds strange, but I do notice a big difference in like my loads, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
So, and I think hydration also helps balance your pH levels. So I notice like um, things taste better, I think,
Yeah.
is the
Oh,
best
yeah,
way to say it.
definitely. I mean, I can definitely tell like if Rico's not been eating well. But my favorite time of year, which is actually coming next month, is his birthday month.
Oh.
We get Boston cream pie every day, and it makes his cum taste so sweet and delicious. So get you some Boston cream pie and try that out because I swear I'm like I should do this more often every time around his birthday.
Interesting. Boston cream pie.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so another question, again, you may not know personally, but you may have heard of, that I just learned this week, and Cassie just learned, I think, right?
fluffer?
Fluffers.
I've never heard of that word before.
No, I was like,
Yeah.
what are these people talking about? We
Yeah.
must not be nasty, but fluffing, is that real? Do you know?
Oh, I've never seen
Okay,
that.
so-
No, somebody preparing somebody for
Yeah.
the scene? No, I've never seen
Okay,
that.
so when you get
Yeah.
on set, are you already hard, or is it like you're soft and then someone's getting you there? Like, do you want to show your soft dick? I guess that's the question.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
So I really want to talk about it.
You don't have to. You
You can
whatever
pass.
makes you feel comfortable.
Yes, you can always pass.
So this is really funny because when I first started, I was like, it's not fair. Like, why do I have to be like rock hard all the time?
Yeah.
Like in real life, like I get turned on as as the hooking up
Right.
starts. So why does it have like so many scenes are like, okay, she's gonna pull down your pants and it's gonna be like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's never happened in real life.
Right.
Like,
No.
for me, like it's usually that's not. For
I mean,
me.
I guess that's the same thing with females, though. Like, you have to like have that foreplay for our bodies to be like prepared
Yeah.
to take that dick.
Yeah.
You know?
You have to.
But it's like
Yeah.
I loved to start with a soft dick because then I'm like, oh, I'm doing a good job. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
That's cool. No, I think that's real cool. I think more people need to hear that because I think so many guys are like scared of showing their soft dick, you know, and it's like I literally told Azza about this on her podcast. I want to do like a free the softie campaign,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And I do take pictures on my OnlyFans of like just me just naked with a softie all the time, and some of my fans appreciate it, and some of them are like, "Can you take more hard-on pictures?"
That's funny.
And I'm like, I'm trying to get more comfortable with myself. You don't
Yeah.
understand.
That's funny. Yes, just make a shirt. We'll get one. We'll wear
Yeah.
it.
We'll represent.
I'll send you guys
Yeah.
one. Yeah, for sure.
I
Well,
love that. That's so funny. What is your prep though for, like even just to get loose? Like, do you drink? Do you smoke? Like, is something kind of help you out, like just to feel comfortable and get in the zone? Like, what do you do?
So my biggest thing I've learned, it took me a long time to learn this because I kept just like listening to whatever they told me to and then not speaking up and saying what I need. And I never realized that. It's like I always say, like, I want anyone to be able to speak up and say what they need, but then I don't. So I'm like, I need to start doing that. So I started saying like, well, this is what I need. I need the scene to start with more attention on her, so that way I can just naturally, get aroused, and then also she can take time. Like, so I always tell them like, instead of let's starting with a blowjob, like, can we start with me going down on her, or like rubbing over the panties or something like that. Like that way, like it. That's for me. That's the best way. I'm not going to get anxiety.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to protect my mental health, but also have a good scene, and then also try to portray to the audience a safer way to initiate sexual encounters.
Do you get nervous like in the scene just because you
A lot.
know that cameras are
Yes.
even with Jada, or just with like?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Less with Jada, a lot less with Jada, but I get so nervous. My heart's pounding sometimes.
Yeah, I could see that. That's funny.
are there any other stereotypes of actors that are not true or are true? We're talking about being realistic with things.
That there are performers, very strong performers that have like a silicone tube in their penis, and then a pump is one of their testicles is a pump, and they pump themselves hard.
Whoa.
It's a real thing.
But does that
Wow.
hurt? That's gotta hurt.
I have no
Yeah.
idea. I don't.
Well,
But
if
I looked
you
it
ever
up.
find out, let me know because I'm now very curious.
But
Me
I
too.
mean,
Wow.
Jada's worked with a performer that had it, and she had no idea.
Oh.
She was like, he did get ready pretty quick.
Ah,
That's what I was going to say.
That's
Oh my
But,
God.
yeah.
wow.
Like a sneaker, you just pump that shit up.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Crazy.
I was like, that's pretty nifty.
Wasn't there like
Wow.
an inflatable bra back in the day that you could just like pump up and it was just boop?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it was like a TV show
Yeah.
or something.
But yeah, that did shock me. I was
Yeah.
extremely surprised to learn
Both
that.
of our
too.
mouths dropped.
I know.
was like, oh.
That's see, that's
That's yeah, it's
perfect.
completely new. I love that. So I remember when I first started talking to you, you told me that you like had a new. I mean, I don't know if you would technically consider yourself having a foot fetish, but you decided that you did like girls with pretty feet. When was that? Like that you realized, and then like, does it get to the point where you're like liking the smell of dirty socks or anything like that?
So I think it was within the past couple of years, just doing like filming and stuff like that, and then like some girls they'd have like a fresh pedicure and their toes are like perfectly straight, and I'm like, wow, your feet are like perfect, like so weird. I was just like, I felt like I'd never seen feet like that, and I was like, they're really pretty, like, and I felt like that was like almost like a character statement, like attention to detail is something that I appreciate. And then like next thing you know, like I see them like pop up on my Instagram feed, and then I'm like, oh, that's pretty, and then that's like my Instagram feed now is like a bunch of feet, and I'm like, it's Jada's like, is that what you look at? And I'm like, I don't know, like why are there so many? But I guess it just like knows what you're interested in, I don't
man's
know,
watching.
but
Yeah, the algorithm is real.
Yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting thing, and at first I was definitely like embarrassed by it, and she was like, I think she could sense like why. So I told her like in high school there was this guy who was like one of the popular guys. I was just like a stoner kid, so like this popular guy all of a sudden got like a weird reputation because people were like, oh, he has a foot fetish. Because before prom, I guess he said like he asked the girl like, can you take pictures of your feet and like send them to me? And she told all of her friends, and everyone was like, oh, he's weird. And I was like, oh, I guess you're weird, like if you think that. So I just like told myself like that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and buried it probably for a while. I don't know if it was like there when I don't know if it's something that developed, you know what I mean? But it definitely, once I started noticing, I still tried to bury it because I was like, oh, it's weird.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've noticed from the people that have been in my little foot world, a lot of the men are embarrassed. They're making secret profiles about it. Or, they keep it very hidden.
Yeah.
But I felt like, because when I didn't realize like how much people like feet, and then I was like, oh, I can make money from this, cool. But
that's so cool.
there's so many weirder things that I don't even think that a foot fetish is weird anymore. Like before I just didn't really know about it. And so then when I learned there's so much out there, it kind of changed the perspective myself. But I feel like a lot of people just don't really know about it because a lot of people hide it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just learned not to judge because everyone comes from a different like background, different walk of life. You never know. Just like and if you take the time to know it, you might be like, oh wow. So it's crazy. It's like I don't want to take this like a morbid route, but it's like back when I was in the military, like I hurt people for my job, and people didn't think that was bad. But now I have sex with people for my job, and people think that's bad.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's like there's all types of skewed perspectives on like what's weird or what's right or what's
Exactly.
So I just
think at the end of the day,
as long as you're not hurting
Yeah,
someone,
right.
and yeah, for sure.
And be confident, and like I would say thank you for you and your wife both for creating a space where you're trying to change that up too and make it a better place for people to say, hey, it's cool. I mean, in a sense, that's what we're trying to do with the podcast too, like, hey, this is very normal, and this is like people just need to learn. I feel like it's just a lack of knowledge. My tooth. It's just a lack of knowledge that makes them ignorant about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
definitely.
And I was just gonna add that like that's why we kind of incorporate a little bit more, put focus into our filming now, because like feet are beautiful and you should take care of your feet because it is something that takes care of your overall health too. So we actually like have these like toe spacer socks. They're like on Amazon.
Yeah.
They're really cool. But just wearing them at nighttime really helps like spread your toes out and
Feels
like
amazing,
realign
doesn't
your
it?
feet.
Yeah,
it feels great.
I'm a ballet dancer growing up, and we would always use those
Wow.
on our.
Yeah.
Are there any other like
Exactly.
fetish things that you guys do?
I wouldn't really even say I'm like fetish based necessarily. But I think we do a couple fetish things.
For the content.
Like the one fetish is really funny. It's the stuck fetish. I don't know if you've heard of that. Where
Teach
someone
us,
gets
educate
stuck
us.
somewhere. You
No,
haven't?
I've never.
Tell us.
Okay, so one was like Jada got stuck under a sink.
Oh,
And-
okay. I have heard.
Tell me, I don't
It's
know.
like it's such a silly concept, but like I think a company just did a whole series on it. But it's just like a funny thing, and that's what our video was trying to just be like a funny thing on that. Somebody gets stuck somewhere and somebody tries to help them, and then it ends up being like logs have sex with them. So it seems kind of taboo, but we role play it in a way that's like what are you doing? But this is good. And
That's hilarious. Okay,
That's
I did learn about that when I did a coding program because these guys would joke about it, like, "Oh, my stepsister's stuck in the lawn, or like in the washer or the dryer or whatever."
yeah.
But that's like where I heard it, but I didn't know it was like a whole thing. I
You
guess.
know what I was gonna say, and hilarious that you say coding boys liked it, because I was gonna say I like cheesy porn. Like I think that's funny,
I
and of course, like coders
yeah, of
would be
course.
into cheesy stuck porn.
That's funny.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
I think cheesy stuff's
Yeah,
funny.
it is. Do you have a
Yeah.
good cheesy story for us, like that you've been worked on, or a cheesy name,
Oh
a
yeah.
movie name?
We have some serious movies that we've recently like actually got written out. We want to like start filming like not sex movies, like
Oh, cool.
pretend like pitching them for Netflix or something like
Yeah.
that. Um, but cheesy, um, like we have this one video up that's like I'm a skateboarder and I like fall and then because I like look over and she's really hot and I'm like, oh, and I fall, and it's pretty cheesy, and we use a couple like animations and gifs in there, and we raise awareness on washing hands in
I
there,
love it.
for 30 seconds.
I love that.
So like because that's also something that's really important on sets. Like people are grabbing a camera and then going back to like maybe touching your privates. Like you
Yeah.
need to wash your
Yeah.
hands. Like it needs to be a very sterile environment.
Yeah.
But that's I don't know, we do cheesy stuff like
I
that.
like it.
So
I feel like my Instagram's pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
I think everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Social media is cheesy.
This was a funny question that I got from several people, and it's talking about like smells. They're asking regarding like maybe a small room, small set, hot light, lights, sweaty genitals, anal. They're asking about the smells. They want to know what.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't think about that.
You know?
Very no, it's incredibly
Yeah.
important. So here's one example. I have another one of it. This one's like a sea salt and driftwood
yeah.
candle. But we try to always have a couple candles burning, so that helps keep the smell like really nice. Like we have like a lemon candle, like a mango candle. This one's just more of like masculine set, I
Yeah.
guess, look. But I like to keep it like a fruitier, lighter smell. And then on top of that, we try to pre-cool our sets so it's not like a hot, sweaty environment, because that does make it difficult.
Yeah.
And then like pH balance, like that's something that can throw off like body odors sometimes. So that is something that it sometimes makes it difficult, but it's respecting somebody as like the performer, that like maybe they just had a scene yesterday, their pH balance is thrown off, and they're having a scene today, and that's happened to me with people, and it's like it makes it hard for me sometimes because I'm breathing and I'm like, the smell kind of bothers me, but it's like if they wanted to, they wouldn't smell like this, and it's like, so sometimes like sometimes that's the case, and it's your friend or it's a performer that like it's but so you do your best to take care of yourself. Like I said, staying hydrated, I think, will help prevent that kind of stuff. So that covers temperature, that covers smell. I think there was one other thing in there I might be missing.
I think it was more of like the sweaty genitals and anal like smells and things like that, I
Okay.
guess.
Also, we keep like organic baby wipes or some kind of wipes like on set. So frequently there'll be a cut sometimes to like maybe wipe or ask if somebody needs like lube or something like that if they are nervous. Sometimes that's a
Yeah.
case. I personally don't do any anal, so we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I've never had to yet. And then I guess the other thing that we've seen sometimes, some performers will perform like on their period, and they'll use makeup sponges.
I just learned about that too.
To do what?
They just stick it up there.
Yeah, and that's something I did not know about, and that's something that I've been like, is that
I heard about that in
healthy?
the strip clubs as well.
Yeah.
There was a whole, I think a TikTok probably informed me. Yeah.
You
But
okay.
it's like the industry
Yeah.
standard is to stick sponges up there just to make it through the scene, and it's like I those are the times also where I kind of feel bad, like can we reschedule to where I don't want you to have to feel like this, and then it's also when you do the sponges, it immediately dries out everything, so you like lube is kind of
Oh, yeah.
required. So then you're putting potentially like her at risk for tearing because males are not they're not at risk for
Right.
tearing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like micro tears inside can happen if you're dry,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
especially if like sponges are added. So it's like I don't ever want to hurt someone. It's like so that's. But if they're like, no, I want to do this. I'm just on my period. It's like hard to be like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
Because
saying?
then they'll feel like rejected in a way just because they're on their period. So yeah, I could see that.
Very
Yeah. So
interesting.
sometimes people say like male talent have it harder. I don't
I
think
was gonna
so. I
ask
think
that
female
question.
talent has
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
I think I think female talent has it much harder. There's a lot more things that they have to worry about. Like I was reading an article on the vagina is like its own like environment necessarily. Like even sleeping with like cotton underwear or sleeping without underwear is like a healthy
Right.
option that I think not a lot of people know.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, there's just been a lot that I've learned about like sexual health that I want to like not just like portray in my filming, but just like maybe even do a series that will help keep people safe. Uh, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. What is testing like for someone going into that field? Like,
That's a
what would they
great question.
expect?
So you have to get registered with talent
Mm-hmm.
testing or cutting edge testing. I believe they're out in Los Angeles, but talent testing is the industry standard. Every 14 days, that's what most companies take. Pretty much all companies, just the 14 days standard. It's a full panel that tests for all the STDs. Now it also tests for COVID. The industry standard right now is, I think, 48 hours. Some will accept 72 hours for a COVID test, but you have to have you have to be in the system, registered. It will scan it with a QR code to make sure that it is legitimate and is not a fake test. If you do fake a test, you are notified to the industry because you're a
Yeah.
problem and you can potentially hurt people. And I think there have been several fakes in the past year, so the industry is doing a really good job with their registration and QR code system, trying to keep people safe and tested.
Yeah. So you do that every 14 days, pretty much. Like the
Yep,
whole
and
dick
it's
swab, you have to do that part? Oh, okay.
no, so
Let's
it's
see.
actually blood
Okay.
and urine and throat swab.
Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know. I was thinking it was
That would be
like
awful if you had to do that, right? Obviously, I don't know, but I would think that would be awful.
if you had a dick, you would.
Yeah, I would not want to do that part.
Is that like a swab that goes up your urethra?
Yes.
Oh
I
my
know. I
God.
thought that was the only kind. See, I don't know. But yeah, that's like, yeah,
Yikes.
right?
Haven't had that
Good.
yet,
Yeah, I don't.
thankfully.
Yeah.
Is there something, and this I guess would really be, I guess, in a company setting, not your own, but is there anything that you do regularly in porn that you, or I guess the question was that normally grosses you out, or that you don't prefer, but you do it because of the job?
So I typically don't do cream pies actually, which is like finishing inside of a girl. So I don't do that for several reasons because you have a higher chance of pregnancy.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Like that's how you get people pregnant.
Yeah.
It's a good goal.
And it's also like, I think it throws your pH balance off a lot more if somebody has a scene the next day. So there are some scenes where they ask for that, and I'm like, I get anxiety, and then I'm like, should I ask her if she's on birth control? Like I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. It's like her choice, it's her decision. It's like, and it's all in my head, and yeah, those ones definitely kind of make me uncomfortable, which is always a surprise to them. I'll tell them after. I'll be like, oh my God, I was so nervous. And they'll be like, really? Guys usually love when they finish. They say it's easier that way. I'm like, but I'm like thinking about you. And
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I never really thought about it because I would assume that everybody that's in the industry would be on like birth control. I
Yeah.
guess.
I'm surprised that not everyone is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, just risky. Huh.
Yeah.
And then some people are on the pill, and even I have to remind Jay, like, did you take your pill? She's like,
Yeah.
shit.
Right.
Like, are the people that I'm working with the same? Like, do they have somebody reminding them?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Have you ever
yeah.
had anyone on set that uses the NuvaRing, which is the birth control that like it's the plastic. I mean, I guess it's not plastic, but it's something that just goes in there.
Right. No, I just recently worked with someone who said that they had
IUD.
correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
IUD? Okay. And she asked, like, can you feel it? Some people say that they can feel it. And I was like, I'll just make sure I don't go that far, I guess, you know? And I just did my best not to, like, try to feel it, I guess. So I have not experienced that. But I have a friend in the past that his wife had a NuvaRing and she got pregnant and they have a kid, like, while she had it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you know,
Yeah.
that's why they say it's like 99%
Yeah, exactly.
effective.
Yeah. She was like, "What?" And then because she just could not, she didn't want to have a kid, but she just could not bear the thought of not having a child. So she ended up having a kid, and she thought she was safe. So she ended up going with a different birth control option. So that's just experience. I'm not trying
Yeah.
to down talk shit on NuvaRing.
Yeah.
All right, 'cause that's what I use.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I've heard a lot of scary stories about NuvaRing, so anyway, moving on. Is it all acting, or do you feel like you actually get sexual pleasure, like in a scene? I feel like just from talking to you, you sound like you'd be in your head a lot with your anxiety.
Yeah, and unfortunately I am. But sometimes I'm able to just like relax and just like get into it when I know that like I'm not the focus, I'm just the prop, and like she is doing her thing. Like when the performer is just writing me, that's one of those times I can just kind of relax, I guess, and know that like this is their time and this. But otherwise, I kind of get in my head because there's a lot for me to, I guess, think about, like angling to the camera, and I do try to like. I'm learning more and more as I go. Like when I first started, I was just like, okay, get in front of the camera and just go. And now I'm trying to learn more to like make it like slower. Actually looks better a lot of the times, and it feels better too. And displaying that is a work in progress, but I think we're doing okay with that. And it's actually helping me get out of my head a little bit because I feel like what I'm doing, I'm more confident in what I'm doing instead of just being like, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel more confident in what I'm doing.
What about, so her friend had like a good question, and I'm going to add to it. Like, what about your manscaping? And then, like, do you bleach your asshole? Like, is that
Yeah.
even still
Do you
like
get
a thing
spray
that people?
tans?
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah.
Well, I know you're like super fit. I see you working out all the time.
Oh, thank you. um, so this past year, Jada started doing laser hair removal, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do that because I don't like hair in my butt crack, and I have more of it than I
You
like.
got it
So
on your butthole? Holy shit.
Did that hurt?
I've gotten laser hair removal on my, like just my bikini line. That is so painful. I'm covered in tattoos and I would never want to go back to that.
I'm on my sixth treatment, I think, for chest and nipple and all of my groin area and everything under all the way up my whole butt cheeks and
You're
everything.
going
Like
full
everything
Brazilian.
there, everything will be hairless probably by the end of the year, I
Are
think.
you generally a hairy dude?
No, I don't know what it is. I don't like hair there. The biggest thing for me is 2 times since I've been performing now, I've gotten an ingrown hair,
Oh,
and I just like didn't film for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks until it was completely healed up. And I went to a dermatologist, and they're like, "Yeah, the best thing is to leave it alone." And you can't be sexually active when you have something like that. I guess you could, but I think you shouldn't.
Right.
So to avoid that, I'm just destroying all the hair follicles.
Do you think it hurts? Do you think that process hurts?
it hurt the first 2 times a lot, and then it's been hurting a little bit less the last couple sessions because they said that my hair follicles are
Right.
shrinking, so it doesn't like zing as much. But the first couple times, oh my
I know,
goodness,
right?
it was, whew,
Yeah.
I don't have that
Oh.
experience.
Oh.
I don't miss the first couple
Yeah.
sessions.
Let's see.
But I don't do any spray tanning. I finally accepted that I'm fair skinned,
Uh-huh.
and I'm done trying to go tanning. Every year I try to tan and and I burn, and I'm just like, I'm done with it. So this year I'm really going to try to take better care of my skin. I use like a face lotion with an SPF.
Mhm.
I use lip balm, like the sun
Mhm.
balm with an SPF, because I have a freckle on my lip now. You probably can't see it, but I see it, and it bothers me. And apparently, it's just a natural sunspot. Um, so if I want it to like stay light and not get darker, then I'll just keep putting SPF on it. But yeah, I'm just trying to take better care of my skin, because I always wanted to be this like really dark tan,
Mhm.
like surfer dude, or this like, I don't know, like dark tan Italian, because like all my dad's side, they're all like really dark skinned Italians that live down in the south, and their skin's like
Yeah,
leather,
exactly.
and I always wanted that, but I always wanted that.
Oh.
What's on your porn history? Like, what would we find on that? And do you feel like you're, what was the question? Like, do you feel like you're more of a critique of porn because you do produce it and you are in it?
I don't think I critique. I think that I really look at amateur stuff. I do subscribe to a couple OnlyFans girls that's the only thing I subscribe to are foot girls, and yeah, that's really that's my history is like amateur performers, and I like that too because I'm like supporting
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that that's changed over the years. If I had to rewind back to like 10 years ago, it was like, big tits, like MILFs, like that's all I was probably looking up back then. And then there was probably um, a time that I was just like looking up mostly like Asian or Latina, or I don't know why I was into like just that like almond skin color for a while, I guess. On all different types of backgrounds, but I guess like that was something. So, but now I really I've opened up to like I look at a lot of different things, different ways. I try to see like beauty in a lot of different things. So it's right now I'm looking mostly into like this new interest that I have, which is like the foot fetish thing, and I think it's pretty cool because it even though it's a shy, I wouldn't say shy, even though it's like a kind of small thing that some people are shy about. Like I'm kind of like a shy person, so it kind of like fits me, and I feel comfortable in that.
So you've
I don't know if
always
that
kind
makes
of
any
been
sense.
shy? Like you've
What's
always
that?
been shy, or do you?
No, I do think that the military made me more shy. I think I was like kind of a wild child. Like I had a lot of friends before I joined the military, like from different backgrounds. Like I was the stoner kid that was friends with the jocks, the band geeks, the cheerleaders. Like doesn't like I had different friends all over. But when I joined the military, I kind of I isolated myself a little bit. I lost a few friends when I was in, so I started telling myself not to make friends because like they're just gonna die anyway, and that sucks. And then I had to realize that I was doing that to stop doing that, and then trying to open up to people, and then I was like, I don't want to be open about my background because people just don't get it. Like they kind of sympathize when I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just trying to get them to understand like my past. And so yeah, I guess for a little bit I was shy just because I didn't know who to be or how to be. I didn't really like myself because when I got out of the military, I felt like I was a bad person. I hurt people. I destroyed families. Generations of families are still going to try to recover because their dad is not with them, their brother's not with them, their mom, their daughter, somebody was taken because of something that I did. Um, I hated myself for a long time, but my dad helped me get through that because he told me that like if you didn't do it, somebody else was going to do that. The government was making someone do that. You just happened to be that person at that time. At least I'm thankful that I didn't take it to the level of doing things that were unnecessary harm. I knew that I always stayed in the realm of protecting my people and my team and not doing anything that was unnecessary.
What
So
part
as
of the
much as
military were you in?
I was in the Air
Okay.
Force and I was a part of a tactical air control party. So our job was to go with Army units and call in airstrikes. So we would carry radios on our back and we would communicate with fixed wing aircraft and we would talk to the pilot and tell them where to drop a bomb or where to do a gun strafe.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for 6 years, 2 deployments, and my first deployment, I was like 19, and I really thought I was doing the right
Yeah.
thing. My second deployment, I was married and had a different perspective, and I started looking at these families like as
Mm-hmm.
families, and they were just trying to provide for themselves, and I really felt like the way that we were handling the situation was wrong.
Yeah. I wish we need to change that idea. I think we've talked about it before, but going to college or going into the military out of high school, like at 19, no,
No,
that's
yeah, it should be like
yeah,
21 or
Yeah.
more. Yeah, that's way too
right.
early.
Same with college. Like I had no idea
Exactly.
what I was
Yes.
doing, and then I just went and partied the whole time anyway. Like it was very dumb. It was wasteful, both financially and academically. So I feel like that needs to change, maybe. Hope.
That's cool. You can admit
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Um, should we?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we always have a little rhyme from Cassie before our very last question. So,
Okay. Let me read. So it says, when you're nasty, the world is a better place. You might embrace it by sitting on a face. You may also demand respect because of your actions and aesthetic, whether you've become a badass over time or whether it's genetic. Thank you for joining us, for being a part of the team. You've empowered the world. Your being is supreme. So with that said, what do you think makes you nasty?
I think I'm a nasty, good friend for just supporting and not judging and trying to learn something that is not normal to most people. So I don't know if that's
yes,
nasty,
It
but
absolutely is.
in
yes,
Yeah.
some people's mind, I guess it's
Yeah,
nasty.
yes, no,
that is badass, and for you again to hold a space for people to be sexual and be comfortable and
safe, yeah,
yeah, like that's huge.
yeah,
I
that's
would
amazing.
agree.
So,
Thanks.
Yeah.
we're proud of you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Tell us where we can watch, maybe not, I mean, your stuff, but also your company and all that good stuff. Where do we
can
find you?
Yes.
Where can we
So
stalk
right
you?
now, we're just trying to get the house together. So I'm just on Instagram at Hey Jackie Knight and Twitter Hey Jackie Knight. For anything else, we're trying to do a YouTube channel, which is just the YouTube Jackie Knight. I have one vlog up right now. We have like 7 vlogs in a folder that we're working
Yeah.
on, and yeah, we're just going with the flow. Like I said, Jada, she's just getting back to work after a tough couple months.
Cool.
All right, well, send us that free the softy shirt.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah. Thank you for motivating me with that. Every time I talk about that, I'm like really surprised how supportive people are. So thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, love a soft dick.
Yeah.
Let's agreement and get it ready.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here, and
Thank you so
do
much for
a
having
part
me.
2 on all of your other stuff when it comes
Endeavors.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Today's episode is brought to you by Nirvana Defense. We are cut from the cloth of Arjuna, and just as he found himself standing before the abyss of battle, contemplating the value of a person's life and that life's greater purpose, we too embrace the absurd and the freedom that follows. Join hippies with hand grenades at nirvanadefense.com.